Hi everyone, my name's Carol. When I make music I go by Lucid Letters. I'm a producer, singer and songwriter from the north of England. And welcome to the production breakdown for my remix of Andrew Huang's Oblivion. Let's get into it. The first thing I did for this remix was to sample part of Andrew's voice. It's part where he sings away. So what I did was I reversed that sample, fed it into sampler, and created these interesting chords. Instead of playing the sampler as an instrument, I recorded the chords and then took them into a separate area to process with sidechain and with the auto filter, where I've automated the rate so that it has a kind of a wobble to give it a bit more movement. So that chord structure became the basis for the rest of the remix, and at that point I had to work out how I'm going to harmonise it, so I got myself a bass. This bass is, again, I was using a sampler, and here is a very, very, very small piece of Andrew's original bass stem. So I created this bass line. My drums are made mostly of Andrew's drums, which have been time stretched in various ways. You'll notice at the top of the project here, the time signature is still in 7/16, even though there is a feeling of 4/4 here. That's because each of these beats contains 7 sections. So just like in this fill here, you'll see there are 7 hits there, and that's how I've kept some of the interest and complexity of the original while making it a little bit easier for someone like me to remix it. I've added a different kick just to fill out the subspace. And there's Andrew's kick on the top of that. You'll notice this one is time stretched, it's got the warp on it, but in the latter sections I take this off, and that actually gives a thumpier sound, but we'll get to that soon. I laid up some claps and a snare. This is actually from one of Andrew's old sample packs that I put to use quite frequently when I want a crunchy, clicky kind of sound to my snares or claps. I've chopped up a lot of Andrew's vocal for this. At the start we've got "I've been waiting" repeatedly. And that's in the original key, but we've also got "away," which is also hard side chained. Plenty of pitch shifting and time stretching to fit this new ambiguous key that I'm using. And those vocals continue in the next section. I've also got a harmony that I made. In the latter half of the first section, I use Andrew's lead synth solo from the original, but I've chopped it up slightly and changed the key to give this kind of wonky, lilting, chromatic, somewhat atonal sound. And with that I doubled up with piano and a little Juno pluck. And that leads us nicely into the next section, where I use some reversed piano to get us there, as well as some white noise. Then in the second section, I introduce a new bass sound. And I double that with a lead. I carried on with the Juno and the piano to make this nice descending tinkly sound with plenty of delay that goes around the stereo field. And in this second section here, I have more drum layers. I've got a really interesting part of Andrew's drums that I have time stretched to actually be slower than the rest. And that fades in. It has the utility of like a snare roll, except it's more of a drum and bass feel. I've also got this nice hi-hat run, and that's got the feel of the 716. And I side changed this riser to fit with those little hits there. And I'm showing you because there's no way you'd know otherwise. Just before the start of the final section, I did this little trick because I wanted a really clean stop there without any of the reverb or delay ringing out. And I achieved that by automating all of my reverbs and delays. I've got them all switched off until the start of the last section. And then we come to the final section, and I keep the bass. I layer that up with just some nice simple on the beat sub bass. Then I bring in Andrew's lead vocal, but it's been pitched up by 5 semitones to fit this new key that we've got, and I also included it an octave lower. I've been waiting for someone or something to take me away. I've been waiting for someone or something to take me away. And in this mix we've got plenty of ear candy. Thankfully, Andrew's stems was chock full of it anyway, so all I had to do was just drop in a nice few things. I quite enjoyed the sound of the T syllable in Take Me Away, which has been... I don't even know what Andrew's done with that, but I knew I had to keep it in. And of course we have to have the woo. And that's it! I hope you enjoy it. It's available to listen to on my SoundCloud. It will hopefully be available to listen to as a YouTube video as well. Look out for my edit of my recent Twitch stream where I break down some of the way I made this. In fact, I'm literally making it on camera, so you'll be able to see how I churned through some of the problems I was having. I really hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon. Bye!